And okay, I think we're live probably. Sweet. That is set up properly. Oh no, all the secret roles show up on the screen in the stream. Oh no. It's fine, they're not relevant right now. Okay, so what happened last week?
We killed a thing.
Yeah, we came to take possession of the station that we were told to come and take possession of, and discovered there were some orcs, except there was something else as well as orcs. And it turned out to be Sephiroth the whole time. I mean, wait, no, Doppelganger Constantine. That one.
Yeah, wrong lore. wrong fandom.
And then we killed him, and that wasn't supposed to happen, apparently. So,
Oh. Yeah.
As a consequence, we received a gift.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Sandwich Jack was not on the station. I swapped him out for Scythia because I felt like
She's
it.
more useful.
I wasn't gonna tell him that. You do indeed sometimes do things with the axe. Sometimes. So yeah, there was a rather funky sword left in the floor, I believe.
Indeed.
Which most people fail to notice.
Okay, fair enough. Is anybody planning on doing anything with the sword, or?
did we figure out a way to actually move it without touching it? I know there was discussions of like we'll stick it in the orc boss's corpse and use that as like a like a pincushion to hold it.
Yeah. Yep.
I was gonna say
that's all I really remember, to be honest.
Couldn't we just get one of the servitors to carry it?
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Or even the hawk thing.
With grapple hawk.
Yeah, the grapple hawk.
Mm.
Well, it's better than scooting it across the floor with a stick. So,
yeah, I do remember Mouse is also dragging the orc boss corpse with him as well.
Never know, the stick might get possessed.
As a trophy.
I think Kill Slim's servitors would be a bit more precise in picking that up than my bird. My bird just kind of picks things up and dumps them somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess the servitor will pick up the blade.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm also going to ask radio box to the ship and ask for someone to bring a orc head size containment vessel or stasis thing.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to proceed to lop the orc's head off.
Sweet.
And stick it in the thing.
Just for funsies, give me a weapon skill roll, just to see, how much style goes into this. And
with my weapon skill, probably
exactly,
nothing. Hang on, I've just got my sheet up. I don't think I've ever rolled this weapon, so... any modifiers for it being a dead target?
Well, you know what? I think it being dead counts as being like a vulnerable target, so I think that's plus 30.
I don't know. It might dodge out of the way though.
I heard orc corpses are twitchy.
Oh, nothing happened. Hang on a minute. Try that again. Oh, nothing happened again.
This is weird.
This is strange. Let me just try rolling a gun. Oh, well, the gun works. Why doesn't the sword work?
I will check your sheet real quick.
Oh, I see why. There's a
Ah, yeah, see it. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's 6. Yeah, so that means it's even located to the head. Very nice. So yeah, that's a nice clean cut. Off with the head.
And I shall stick it in the stasis thing that the crewman will bring over, and we will put it in storage.
No worries. When the crewman gets over when you said orc head, they weren't expecting a Wabos head, so it doesn't quite fit.
Maybe lop a little bit off the side, maybe an ear, and kind of jam it in. I'll call Mouse over to forcibly push it in.
Fair enough. There's some slight creaking from the container, but it does get in.
Yeah, he smushes it down and eventually ends up kind of like sitting on it like a suitcase.
Yes.
Get the lid to close. Mouse is going to, rather than just let the minions dispose of the corpse, he actually drags down the remains to... Is there like a main brig area? I guess there would be. It'd have to be like a ship's prison or something.
I mean, on the actual ship, yes. This section of the space station now.
Oh, right, okay. We're still on the station. Okay.
Yes.
We've been met by people. Okay. Well, my idea is that
Cage
he will take the rest of the corpse and like literally just stick it on a pike outside the ship's brig. Just, to
Nice. Yeah, all right.
spook any inmates.
Good move.
That'll do. That's worth a few intimidation bonus points there. Okay.
The Warboss head mount.
Fair enough. I was gonna say I can't exactly do that later. Okay. So what would you like to do with the station while you're here? You currently don't know anything about the station other than it's completely unpowered.
Can we try and find out something about the station?
Yeah, we should probably like sweep through the rest, make sure it's clear, and then send in some, technicians. Get things up and running. Make sure it's all airtight and the electronics are working and all that kind of thing.
I'm sure
All
the
other
family.
objects.
I'm sure the family would have kind of like some kind of ship or something, or, like a repair ship. Or you get what I mean. And then I don't know.
Well, I'm sure we've got enough technical people to make sure at least part of the station is livable and occupiable.
So the room directly to, I suppose, your map east or right, whatever, is a voided section, hence the wall but no floor. And you've got your generator and I suppose cogitator station down the bottom right of the map. So just all you need to do is basically go on down there and roll some tech use, and we'll see what state the station's in, basically.
Yeah, I
Sounds
guess
like a
Lucius
job
would
for our
lead the
tech
party
priest.
down there.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry, eating. So a flat tech use roll for me. Add on whatever relevant modifiers you have.
Okay. You're kidding me. I'm re-rolling.
Come on, kill.
That's impressive.
Now that is a good indication of what a really bad roll and what a very good roll is.
Yeah, basically. So, well, with that, you realize that large sections of the station are either missing or completely inoperable. You realize from your diagnostics that I suppose you call it substation that you're in at the minute, is one of the one of two working substations. So you've got like some very small like what are essentially backup generators to keep the emergency lights on to work with. You can sort of manipulate the power around the station to like essentially turn the lights on and life support on in very specific sections, but you can only really handle like one section at a time, so it will all have to be like manually controlled as you go along, or have everybody in void suits basically. You realize that the main reactor is completely shot to the point where it's beyond repair and simply needs replaced. This would be a cruiser-sized reactor, and sort of one of those that either needs to be acquired by yourselves or by the dynasty. And would be costing some profit factor. That's gonna be like one of the main sort of setup costs. To clarify, what I'm going to be charging for this station to be used as a resource is 1 profit factor, which is being essentially directly converted from a ship point for the reactor to get the place like powered up completely, and then the 1 more profit factor to get the place like airtight and like generally repaired, and then you'll have a basic hull of a space station. I've actually decided to go with pretty much what I laid out last week. As soon as I scroll up and find it again. So yeah, the like Void Shipyard, I would be charging an additional 4 profit factor, because obviously you can get huge profits out of that, and what essentially works out as like free ship modification. Even if you're using it for like frigate and like cruiser level stuff, like it's obviously got the like largest setup cost, but like having a private shipyard is like extremely lucrative. Manufactorum, pretty much same again, additional 3 profit factor on top of that. Because again, obvious. Your pilgrimage / recruitment / luxury rest stop will be an additional 2, because I mean, again, all fairly profitable, but all fairly low risk, and not really like anything major other than a like rather specific refit of the station itself. And obviously, if you're just turning it into like an Inquisition black site / treasury, it's just like 1 extra profit factor to kit the place out, basically.
Well, could they
Basics.
could there just be like an Inquisition office there if you wanted to give them a room they could use, like Dodge suggested?
Yeah.
No, not the whole thing, just like,
Oh yeah.
you know.
100%. Like if you literally if you want to like offer them, a suite, for example, for their own personal uses, whatever, by all means, that's completely fair. You can throw that in, but like,
Well, it was Dodge's idea. It was.
Yeah.
I was just thinking.
oh no, that's it. But I mean, pure. If you want to
Yeah, it just seemed-
literally give it to the Inquisition, it's still going to cost your profit factor to. Well, I mean, strictly speaking, you could give it to them in the state that it's currently in, and let them lump it if you really want. But like,
Nah,
you know.
if I were, as my recommendation to Dodge, it would be do as much as you can with it, like do everything. It might be a big loss of profit factor to begin with, but once it's done, it's going to be a huge income.
Personally, I think
no-
I would go for the shipyard as the primary use. That seems like it would be the most potentially beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, I'd say probably that.
I'd say shipyard with the tourist thing on it, because that's only a small thing. You know, the tourist and layover stop. I'd go for those 2.
No, it would be strictly a shipyard.
Oh, I get you.
I mean, obviously you can have like some small rooms for people that are getting their ship sorted or whatever, like as a very much as a layover, but like that will not be like part of the paperwork for it, as it were.
Oh, I get you. If it's just one thing, I agree with Pointy, then shipyard.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, shall we just say you finish your general assessments, and we'll be putting forward to the family that you think it would suit as a sort of modest shipyard to be used for the dynasty and to be well, I can say such a thing gets you a lot of credit with the Mechanicus, for example. And yeah. Okay, cool.
Can we gather that kind of like maybe the orcs had stripped the parts that are missing?
What do you mean?
You said there were parts of the station missing?
I mean, they're just gone. Like, there's not like obvious evidence of them being taken, for example.
Oh, I get
or,
you.
Like
Right,
they're just
they're just gone.
like like over time, degradation, some random ass raids, and
I get you.
all that sort of shit.
Space debris, probably.
Yeah, the wear and tear of being left alone in the middle of space for 300 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I will look into more of that for the next little while, and this can be a little back and forward. We'll have a little bit of negotiation with Mechanicus and meeting with the Mechanicus at some point. That'll go well.
It's a good meeting place if Dodge ever wants to do a meeting with someone as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got spider legs, so I'd imagine he'll do okay.
No.
No, if the Mechanicum turn up, I would send him on an errand to a different part of the universe.
Hey, Kilson, what does enemy Mechanicus mean?
They don't like me very much.
Indeed. But yeah, a bit of that.
I don't see a problem.
No.
Envoy, go.
Basically.
Envoy, not return.
How do you stack Overflow Tech Priest with Plasma? But anyway. So yeah. We will bounce back out of the station. So you're gonna get one of the servitors to carry the freakish warp sword back.
Yep, and stick the head in storage.
Okay.
And I want the Demon Constantine's corpse to be completely obliterated, like cellular level destruction of this corpse.
Fair enough.
There's bound to be an incinerator or two in the engine room.
Gonna say it sounds like
Yeah, put it through both,
Put it through one and then dig the ashes out and put them through the other one.
just to be sure.
Fair enough. Okay. Double check my notes. Okay, so after you pass your report on to the family, while you're waiting for a reply from your grandfather for as sort of a response to have seen it, he informs you that there's a large event happening and requests your presence back at Footfall immediately for a family meeting.
Well, to football then, I guess.
Simple as that. No, like it is. Trust me, it is actually that simple. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
There was no ulterior motive in that statement.
Genuinely, no, there was not.
Okay.
Okay, back to the old warp rolls. Hey.
See you in a month, Gramps.
Basically,
Shall I take the first one?
give me a second.
Navigator goes first, right?
Navigator will be doing this bit, so you're over here at the minute.
Even better, I can't get blamed.
2 seconds. I will. Oops, wrong page. I can go back over here.
And you.
Where'd it go? Trader Choral Book.
I always just do the warp rolls in the order of the names in roll 20, or are they different orders?
I normally do, but I mean, we need safeties are going to be how long he's going to be in the warp for and all that sort of stuff. 2 seconds. Okay. First, we determine the duration of passage. We going straight back to footfall? 12 days.
Yeah. We can do better than that.
It will not be half the session in warp again.
The entire session. 50 years.
No, I think we've done pretty well for all that sort of stuff, to be honest.
The final frontier.
Okie doke. And now we do. I was doing them slightly wrong, but it doesn't really matter. Same sort of numbers. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we might want him to re-roll that.
I want a new navigator when we get to football.
You know what? You can reroll that. Oh dear.
Jeff,
Yep. Yeah, he's
you know,
he is sacked. All 3 eyes of him. It's gone.
Are we? I mean, at some point, this is going to end up with somebody having some part of their body get bat wings and fly away. It feels like we
I
just
see
keep at
this
it
is
long
an
enough.
absolute win. Oh shit!
Oof. Right. You know what?
We need
I can't be asked, so I'm gonna give this a really good chance at it. There you go. So that means this is going to be like that. Okay, that's actually
Oh.
okay.
that's a lot better than the other two.
I'm gonna be honest. Unless it's a monumentally awful roll, we should stop re-rolling because we only make it worse most of the time. When it comes to
Yeah,
navigator.
I have
Don't
noticed
mean we only make it more
Oh
fun.
look! I rerolled that for you for free, and look what happened. Congrats! You're going to be back at footfall within a week. That have the duration, which means we're only going to be doing 2 rolls. Yay! Say yay!
Yay.
Excellent. That's exactly the level of enthusiasm I was hoping for. Cool. You know what? Because that was a nice roll. Who would like the first D100 on the nice table?
On the nice table.
Oh, 100!
Oh.
My ears.
Oh shit!
Sorry, it's a new headset, I'm sorry.
Would you like to reroll that? I will let you reroll these.
I think so.
All I'm gonna say is it was a 100 on a table with quite a lot of options, ending in 100.
We've never had 100 before. This is cause for celebration.
How
Let's
many
break out
insanity
the
points do you
drinks.
have?
That was a very good call. 100 was sabotage. Pick a component that is not the gallery field, life support, warp drive, or plasma drive. That component is destroyed.
I actually spotted my error. I typed /roll 100.
Oh, you
instead
did
of
actually, yes.
/.
That's okay then. In which case, the first roll is relevant, and in this case, all is well. Your first 3 days go completely uneventfully. Sweet.
In answer
And-
to your question, Matt, my insanity points is just shy of that number.
And sorry, I do apologise if I'm a bit loud. It's a new headset. My old one broke.
Okay, roll number 2. Two officers announced that they will fight a duel to the death over a woman. Will you sanction such violence? If you allow it, a dueling culture begins to spread aboard the ship. Lose 1 population as lives are lost, but gain 1 morale as crew have an outlet for their problems, as well as some entertainment. If you forbid it, lose 1 morale as crew grumble about the captain's tyranny, but gain 1 population as your officers crack down in the further bloodshed and save some lives.
This would be a good way to get rid of Sam. No.
What is our current population?
Not
Um,
brilliant as far as I remember.
93? 93.
Ah,
Morale is only 88.
Oh dear. We failed to specify the terms of the duel, Jack. You're getting flamed.
well,
I mean, personally, I'd go for it, but I've been playing.
Yeah.
I've played far too much Crusader Kings 2 in my life. And Duelist is one of
Yeah.
the better traits to have.
yeah, I feel that Theodore would appreciate a good duel.
Fantastic.
You know, it'd be good for morale.
That's a crew of 92, morale of 89.
What's wrong with Discord?
Yay! Cool. Right, that is you guys back at Footfall in 6 days.
World record.
Do we have like a league table of crew members that are doing okay in the duels?
You know what? Yeah, why not?
We just leave. It's in the bar.
Just
That's
like
like
a
a
chalkboard
Deadpool.
in bar.
I was
like,
about to say, yeah, like it's like
It's a
Deadpool.
Deadpool board.
Yeah.
And the person at the top is named Garville.
Yes. We are
Oh,
quite
almost
literally
certainly.
leaving a trail of breadcrumbs in the form of dead bodies where we go. Oh, another one's lost the door. He's getting jettisoned.
I mean, we have a manufacturer. Can we start to make servitors of them?
Oh,
Laboratorium.
Laboratory. Same. It's not same. I know it's not same.
It's definitely not same. No. But yeah. Okay, so when you come out of warp, the edge of Footfall, you notice that there is a lot of ships here, and I mean a lot of ships.
Like good ships or bad ships?
Oh yeah, like they're all Imperial, and yeah, they're all Imperial of various ships and sizes, some frigates, similar to your own, plenty of cruisers, and a handful of battleships.
The big boys.
I ensure that I have shinied my armor. To the most shiny.
Fair enough.
Mouse will have tried to, I don't know, paint over the worst of the scratches on his armor or something like that. Hammered out a few of the dings.
No brush.
I think Lucius would contact the Seneschal and ask what the purpose of this gathering is, if she knows.
You'll get a response saying she doesn't know yet, but assumes that's what their grandfather called them back for. Or this gathering is something like that. It is worth noting, if you look around, you will note that the ships almost seem grouped together at their various moorings. They all seem to have sort of same sort of house colors, for example. It seems to be about well, from the one angle you've come in at, you've seen at least 7 different dynasties being represented here. So it's fairly unprecedented.
It's a rogue traders gathering.
So,
Would Constantine be aware of any reason that this might happen?
not in particular. The last time he probably would have heard about this was the last time there was, I don't know, something particular like large scale threats to like footfall or like common territory, that sort of thing. It's a big deal. You know, if everybody's in one place, that means all the good stuff's unguarded. You know. And
Yeah, everyone could be out making profit right now.
precisely.
So yeah.
There has to be a good reason for everybody to drop what they're doing and come here. So yeah, you're given sort of docking instructions. Your grandfather's battleship is moored up beside your uncle's cruiser. You recognize it as your Uncle Alexander's cruiser.
Nice.
Uncle Alexander was
guess
the. I was going to say, Uncle Alexander was the one who gave you your first fur cape.
I love Uncle Al.
Exactly. Among the Constantine family, he's reputed to not necessarily be the most reliable of you all, but he's definitely the most loved all the same. But
Yep. Is someone to aspire to be.
something like that. And yeah, probably would have been the one that took Theodore out drinking for the first time.
And for the first time at Magic Hands Mary in football.
So I thought you were going even more dark than that for a second.
That's concerning. We'll leave that point alone, I think.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Whatever. Do you?
I think we'll stop there.
So
Try and guess who's from Norfolk.
I know, right? Talk about extra fingers, but anyway, get a message through over one of the private Vox lines, asking to meet up for a meal aboard your grandfather's ship. It is only Theodore and Scythia have been specifically invited. It's very much a private family.
Lucia will go and slope off and, go and see her various contacts.
Yes. I have something for you when you do that, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Theodore, when you go and visit your grandfather, your uncle's there dressed in pretty much like almost entirely in his various furs and stuff like that. He is famous for liking to go on a good hunt and go kill something deadly and preferably fur covered. He's got a fantastic sense of he's got a unique sense of style. Let's put it that way. And the cape he gave you in the first place was definitely one of the more reserved sort of things in his wardrobe. It's quite sensible compared to some of it. For example, he's currently wearing a cape with a pear cat head sort of sat on his shoulder. They're basically psyker hunting, like toxic tiger things. They're really fucking nasty. Anyway, he's like sat down, have a lovely meal, and eventually get down to business. Basically the deal is there's been a message from Calliagos Winterscale himself. His trade war with Aspis Chorda has died down as of late, and he requires some amusement. Calliagos Winterscale is, for lack of a better word, one of the few legends of the Expanse. I mean, if you check the map, there's literally an entire place called Winterscale's Realm. That's like his place. He that's like his little slice of the subsector.
Where we're looking?
Over here is sort of northwest.
Cool.
So it's
Yeah.
basically the place you've been like bumbling around in for the last little while. But it's his space. You know, if he's got a profit factor, it's over 100 somewhere. Like it's so. Anyway, he's issued a challenge, a race from Footfall to his pleasure
Oh.
world, Solus and Carmine, with a fantastic prize at the end, as well as fully covered entertainment on the planet, to whoever can make it there the fastest. The race will begin in, at this point, a month and a half time, and the only rules is that everybody must begin the race docked at Footfall, and whoever docks in the space, who docks in orbit above Solus and Carmine first, wins. Simple as that.
Mhm.
What size of ship?
Any ship.
Yeah, I'm having definite vibes of like what's the name of that film? Like it's a mad world or whatever it was.
Or that
I was
really,
thinking more
really
wacky
old
races.
film. That really old film, The Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machines.
Yeah, it's got that kind of vibe to it.
There was some subtext at the bottom of the invite which said each ship is considered one entry, but whatever that's supposed to mean. He is known to
Each ship.
each ship is considered one entry.
Is it a warp route or a normal travel route to there? I.e., is it the type of... Is it going to be a warp jump or is it going to be a normal engine thing?
Oh, it's going to be warp travel.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, the whole trick is navigating a good, clean route, basically. Which
Yeah, I need a new navigator.
I was going to say, as far as you guys are concerned, that's just some good rolls. Tell you what, he hasn't. I haven't like put any points into him since like you guys have you know, leveled up a little bit. So I'm gonna just help you out a little bit and level him up appropriately.
Mhm.
How about that? Oh gee, yeah, no wonder you're getting such shit rolls. My bad. Ugh.
Have you ever updated him? That would be like...
Not since I made him. No.
So that would be 2,000, what, 100 skill points or something?
Yeah, pretty much. To be honest, it would be within that region.
That's a big oof.
Yeah, it's all right. I have that. You know what? That is your rolls like significantly increased.
Theodore sends him away for a 1-week intensive course in warp navigation.
It's literally like two massive electrodes of like with warp energy, and it gets zapped in both the temples. You know, it's anyway. So that's the game basically. Your grandfather suspects there's a little bit more to it than just that, but recognizes that your ship has the best chance in the family fleet. He also notes that the Whimsits are also putting 3 ships towards this endeavor.
Mhm. So the Whimsits would be coming up from Port Wanda, right?
They're already here. Well, one of the ships is here. It's Anthony Whimsit's father, Ignatius Whimsit.
Not the Whimsit I was hoping.
No, afraid not.
Okay, yeah. I have absolute faith in my ability. I'm sure we've got this.
Okay.
Fun times.
Yeah, we got this. Don't you worry.
Okay. So your grandfather and your uncle sort of send you on your way, as it were, and wish you luck and shout if uh, you need if you need them in the meantime.
If anyone else tries anything nefarious with the ship.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, you essentially have a month and a half to kill in Footfall, but I wasn't planning, or I have nothing planned with spending the month and a half of Footfall. I wasn't. The 2 month gap was to allow, you know, your warp rolls to happen, basically. So
Well, the first thing Lucia would suggest to you, Captain, is to double the security around the ship and make it, 24-hour guards at every door and even more guards at the engine room, the vital systems, just in case anyone tries anything a bit nefarious.
Yep, absolutely. And also, would there be? Do we have anybody that might be able to, know the way around an engine? Could we do, the opposite of what we're protecting against?
You mean paint a big red stripe along it?
I mean, that would make us go faster. But I meant, can we go out and try to possibly sabotage somebody else's ship,
ooh,
or hire somebody to do it on our behalf?
I'm sure you probably could.
You know. Uh, uh,
I think a far more subtle way of doing it, because that could open a huge can of worms, is maybe try and find people of other ships' crews in, say, bars or somewhere like that and get them exceedingly drunk the night before. So it's not...
That's one bad roll away from me getting exceedingly drunk in a bar the night before.
I think the other route could provide more trouble than it's worth.
Now,
But that's just a suggestion.
people will be protecting their engine rooms and other things just as we are. However, the challenge states that they must be docked in Footfall. Can we find a way to make it difficult for them to undock?
You could try bribing the crews that man the docking clamps and docking tubes to maybe have a problem for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. Because I don't think it's worth trying to get like a better navigator or do any upgrades or anything, because the prices will have skyrocketed.
I will say I have upgraded your navigator appropriately. So he was he was actually quite shit, in all fairness. So you have a perfectly competent navigator now.
Do we have any particularly crazy people in the lower decks that we could maybe make them and somebody else fully believe that they are in fact a navigator and sell them.
I'm
As
sure
ideas go,
it's an interesting idea.
To make some money, because people will be looking for better navigators on football. So if we could find a supply of navigators, we could maybe make some money off it.
I mean, you could. Hang on. Who would you be consulting in this with this idea?
please say Scythia.
Well, one particular character does spring to mind, but I don't believe he's been introduced.
Oh, my
As yet.
apologies.
Yeah, but I think the character you're on about wouldn't ask. He'd just maybe hit them with something, and there might not be much left of them afterwards.
Yeah, I don't need them to be lucid. I just need them to act like navigators.
There might be one. You'd need to also find somebody who's very good at disguises to give them a third eye.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of your big problem.
Mhm.
You've got one other rather major problem. You don't really want to fuck with the navigator houses.
They're perhaps more powerful than the rogue trader families, aren't they?
In some ways, yes. In that in June, he who controls the spice controls the the whatever.
Mhm.
The navigators are the only way you're going to get through the warp. So
I'm
interesting
just going to
idea.
say this plan doesn't sound very good, honestly.
Okay,
Kill Slim the voice of reason.
fine.
I think Syntax's idea is best if we are going down the sabotage route. But I don't know.
Or we find one of these navigator houses and we somehow replace the pommel of this force weapon with a door handle. So that when they go to leave, wherever they stay, they all have to touch this sword and go crazy.
That sounds
That's worse than your
marginally
first
worse,
idea.
yeah.
I much think that and thank you for the vote of confidence, Kill, that maybe bribing
Yeah,
the ship
yes.
crew.
Just weld the docking clamps on.
Yes. I'm just trying to get... Just throwing shit at a wall until something sticks.
Or you can
Clearly.
stop them from getting on the ships by just, pouring blessed promethium on the fucking airlocks.
Can I just point something out before we carry on, please, Phil?
Of course.
Dodge, last time you tried throwing shit at the wall till it sticks, enter Demon Constantine.
Man's got a point.
I mean, yeah, but that was an entire story arc. Then it worked out okay.
Yeah, he's also got a point.
Well, I would say I would like you to decide on a path, whether that is some form of sabotage or simply getting on with it and trusting that you have a nice fast ship to win the race.
Docking clamps.
Yeah, so I think I think fucking with the docking clamps of just... Where's my notes? Whatever the hot chick's brother is called.
Anthony Wormsy.
That's the one.
Yes. Okay. You know what? That's
Yeah.
perfectly reasonable. You'd like to fuck with his ship. Cool. You get
Yeah, just to stop it from undocking correctly, if
fair
possible.
enough. In which case, you might need somebody to consult with the machine spirit of the docking clamps. But I'll leave that up to you as to specifically how you want to do that. So about two weeks pass or so, and you get word in that Anthony Wimsett has docked up in the same couple of a berth down from his father.
Perhaps you should call on our resident tech priest.
But of course. Yes, I'll call a meeting of our inner circle of officers and discuss how we can fuck this guy over.
Lucia won't be there. She's off, doing shady things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If she has no part, she can't get blamed.
Fair enough. I suppose this may as well be a good point to introduce Syntax's character. So I'm just going to sort of ad-lib a little tiny bit. I imagine Theodore and this new character probably met in the No Ranks bar at some point, like in the early days of the voyages, and has only recently sort of caught Constantine's ear quite enough to earn a place at the table, as it were. It was when all of you sort of sat down for about 5 minutes or so. A particularly grizzled looking officer built like a brick shit house, and sort of with a rather large boarding shotgun slung around his sort of sling obviously around his shoulder, will sort of plod on in and sort of sit on down. I will let everybody else do the introduction specifically.
You'll kind of wander in, but you will notice just before he enters that there's like a purveyance of IHO smoke just kind of drifts through the door, and then he enters. And he will nod, not a nod, more of a nodding, a cross between a nod and a bow to Theodore. And he'll stride over. He's kind of wearing normal carapace armour, but you can hear like a little whine of motors underneath the carapace. But it is carapace armour, it's not power armour. Let me hasten to add. And he'll wander over, a cloud of IO smoke surrounding him. He's, as Phil said, very, very large, very rough, scars everywhere. He's got parchment hanging from his armour. Not like Space Marine seals, just of past battles, naval battles, imperial naval battles, and family history. And he'll wander over, sit down, and he'll unhook a large hammer and kind of just let it drop onto the table so he can sit down properly. And he will remain silent, just looking at Constantine for when he should speak, and puffing on an IHO stick.
He's literally wearing his diary. That's kind of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Lucius would voice up, and he would say, more muscle and guns. It's precisely what we need.
He will just give you a cold look from the left and say, "These are the weapons I defend my ship with." And he does say my ship.
If Lucius could smirk, he would.
Mouse is gonna sneak up behind him and make rabbit ears behind his head.
Ugh.
Can I get a silent move test for Mouse, please?
Sure. This is gonna absolutely work. Yeah, there we go. Sneaky, silent, 2.5 meter, heavily armored mouse.
And Ogryn appears behind Garvale.
It's not the strangest thing he's seen, so he wouldn't even,
Fair enough.
If you turn to look at him, Mouse kind of nonchalantly tries to turn the gesture into, like, he kind of sweeps his hand up as if he was just going to scratch his head, and fools absolutely nobody in the process.
This is probably the point where Mouse would definitely recognize the various bits of braid and rank slides and all that sort of stuff on the armor.
And let me hasten to add, it is Imperial Navy. It's not like land-based military. It's Imperial Navy.
And he probably would salute, but if we're in the no ranks bar, then no.
Are yous?
I don't know. Are we? I kind of
know.
think from context we were, but
where would Theodore like to hold this meeting then? You can hold it in the bar if you want.
I kind of had to dash to the bathroom, so I'm
it's shady business, so.
Yeah, if you want it to be secret, that you wouldn't really want to hold it in the no.
No, okay, that's fine. If we are in fact somewhere else, then I guess Mouse would follow up with an actual proper salute.
Is he commissioned?
Lieutenant Commander, yes.
Ah.
He is now, Dog, sorry.
Ah, right. That is not the way you described it.
Yeah, I decided just to skip the technical details if depending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes.
Not to blame, Dog.
Anyways.
He would stand up, turn round, give a smile, a crooked smile to Mouse and salute him.
Okay. Well, Mouse is already saluting, so I guess he just keeps saluting.
Well, no, he's returning the salute.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean a fresh salute. He's just returning yours.
Okay.
Because that's the proper way of doing things.
On with the debauchery.
Yes. So, how are we going to fuck with this fuck?
I will take intelligence tests for anybody who wants suggestions, because I have a few GM related suggestions that I feel it could be put into place as easily as fucking with docking clamps. In fact, probably easier.
Lucius voices up with a couple of ideas. He seems worryingly quick to come up with ideas with regards to sabotage and debauchery and so on. He would say something along the lines of, "My lord, I've had one or two theories. The first is to stealthily board an enemy ship with under the guise of resupply. The second suggestion, which would be quite difficult, if not impossible, would be to bribe, if not outright sabotage, the station itself with regards to undocking procedure or anything else that's technical. Third suggestion would be also unlikely to succeed, which would be to try and gain information or uniforms for sabotage from any crew on shore leave from other ships in order to gain access. Fourth would be to conduct extra vehicular activity in space using void suits and conduct sabotage from the outside of the ship. Those are my 4 suggestions.
Where are we going to find a banana big enough to put in the exhaust?
Couldn't we just, like foment some heresy among enemy crews and then just like let the Inquisition take care of it?
Ooh.
That was one of the GM suggestions. Not that, not that Pointy rolled for it, but that's one of the things I would have suggested.
Ooh.
Dear,
I like that idea.
think
Go on.
a lot.
Yes, please, go on.
I don't know if this would be Mouse coming up with it though. That doesn't. It seems a bit too high level for Mouse, to be honest. I think Mouse's idea
I'd be
of
really
sabotage
worried
would
if
just be
Mouse
go and
started.
bash some people's heads in.
That
I'd be really
also,
worried if
that's
Mouse
also a
started
valid
to-
idea. Starting a fight somewhere and just accidentally punching somebody who was in quite a high position.
We just need to remember that this needs to be utterly covert, with no way of this getting linked back. By us, I mean me or my grandfather. Uncle Al could probably get away with it. So,
Adding on to the idea of a barroom brawl, perhaps we can locate any officers during the brawl and effectively kidnap them, leave them in a safe place, intact, but so that they're unable to attend the race start.
could we try to recruit some officers?
Unlikely.
Worth trying.
Garville will raise his hand.
Yes.
As you know, sir, a lot of these officer types, not me of course, like to frequent more seedier places when they're ashore. To see ladies of a certain reputation. Maybe, and these ladies like to earn money, let's face it, that's why they're in the job they're in. Maybe bribe them to put some kind of untraceable something in one of their drinks that could quite possibly make them not give them any serious injury, but because then that would be investigated and it could come back to you, but would maybe make them rather violently ill for a day or two, therefore not leaving any trace to come back to yourself.
This sounds like a fantastic idea for a master assassin. Well volunteered.
There's always the Blackadder route
Carry on.
of
Yes.
I'm thinking specifically of the baby-eating Bishop of Bath and Wells and how they managed to eventually blackmail him. So what we need is to dress up whoever the equivalent of Baldric would be, and
Mouse.
take probably Mouse in like a sexy negligee, and then take some compromising photos. Because Mouse, I think, would probably be up for that. I don't know. I now have this image in my head of an Ogryn in a negligee. That's somehow.
That's never going to leave my mind.
Astride an officer.
Or free.
Well, that's that scene from Sons of Anarchy, where they bribed the town clerk.
I don't think I've ever watched that.
They get a man who is partly a woman in certain areas. I won't go any further into it.
So, are we going with the officer sabotage?
Unless anybody has any ideas for
I th-
the Inquisition.
I will take any suggestions, but if nobody else has any bright ideas in relation to the Inquisition or the authorities, we'll move on with the officer sabotage.
Yeah.
Okay, going
So,
once, going twice. Officer sabotage it is. Okay, so the inquiry roll I rolled in Scythia means you have it down to you've heard reports that some of the whims at men are going to a couple of particular boutiques for their evening's entertainment. Would you be doing any additional recon, or would you let Scythia and her general network handle this part for you, the actual intel and whatnot for you?
I still feel like we could somehow fit Mouse in a negligee into this particular plan, but anyway.
Just one quick thing,
Hmm?
Phil, that I'm not sure of. Are places like this legal in the 40k world on Footfall?
On
Or are they
Footfall,
highly pushed?
On Footfall, they most definitely are illegal.
Right. There is a second part that could be put into this plan. An anonymous tip-off to the Adeptus Arbites just as certain people are getting naked.
No, it's not illegal at all. I mean, Footfall's ran by rogue traders for rogue traders.
Oh, right, yeah, so it's legal. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's all right, okay.
okay.
Yeah, forget that then. Didn't say anything.
So, with those two rather fantastic rolls, you find out that there's been a couple of guys in particular that claim to be expert pilots that have been frequenting a particular one. Likewise, there have been some others that come across very hoity-toity higher up officer types that would be frequenting another one, sort of bar two, shall we say. What would be your preference of these two?
Likely the pilots. Sounds like the
Okay,
prime way of doing things.
fantastic. In that case, how would you like to do this? I assume we'll be using Lucia for this. Roll the
I would say
sneaky
she has the. Yeah.
definitely be your best bet for skill set.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it sneaky. If you're doing it a bit more upfront, I'll leave it up to you guys. But I would say, from a
Well, there is a way that there is something that she can do that she hasn't done yet.
which is
Well,
Use her sexy body.
no. She can do something that she hasn't done yet. Why do you think nobody knows what she looks like? And why she's always head to toe in leather and can't see an inch of her skin?
She's got really bad acne.
No.
that's what I thought it was.
It's because if she takes all of that off and puts normal clothes on, no one's got a fucking clue who she is.
Hmm.
And that's the reason.
Spooky.
Cool.
You get what I mean, Phil?
I do indeed. Okay.
So if you give Lucia this information, she will tell you that if you can obtain the traceless well, it's not a poison, but the traceless chemicals.
Oh, you mean the one that she used for Constantine's grandfather? But
Yes, of which, of
But-
course, she's got no idea about.
but in a far more
What?
concentrated
Yeah.
concoction. Yes. So for anybody that didn't know, remember when Theodore nicked the bottle of very expensive, very ancient amasec and tried to share it with his grandfather? That was a decoy bottle with diuretic in it. So Theodore gave his grandfather the shits, basically. So that was fun. Anyway, moving on. Okay, fair enough. So what's the plan? Go in, poison the drinks on them, and bugger off.
Yeah, basically, she's going to go to one of her places in Footfall
Mhm.
that you know about.
Yes.
There she will change.
Mhm.
So, because she knows it will be done privately because her people are there.
Yes.
And then she will slip out.
Cool.
So she's not disguised because you get what I mean.
I know where you're coming from. Yeah. Cool. I think I'm just speeding this up a little bit. Can I have concealment at +20?
You can, sir. Hang on, I better use her sheet and not Garveel's. There we go.
Fantastic. Okay. We'll call that a sort of pretend disguise roll. So yeah, she manages to sort of blend in seamlessly with the crowd and finds fairly quickly actually the couple of guys that are claiming to be ace pilot flyboy type types. They've got their sort of like house
Are they
whimsy.
singing?
Hmm?
Are they singing karaoke?
Not quite, but there is karaoke there, so they might get around to it at some point in the night. Who knows? You find them nice and quickly. You got the house whimsy, like not quite. I was going to say sports jackets, but they've got their sort of house colors sort of sitting in the seat beside them, and they're the lady in each arm and all that sort of stuff. They're telling tall tales of the times they duck dipped and dived and all this around various large creatures and stalagmites and stalactites and asteroids and stars, and it gets a bit weird and wonderful in some places, and you yourself are pretty sure they're bullshitting, but probably just getting ladies right. Anyway, successfully poison their drinks and onwards.
Yes, she will leave. And on the way, once she's changed and back in her normal gear, she will just send in Rogue Traders camp to a private channel to Theodore saying the shit has landed.
Good.
See what I did there? Eagle has landed. Shit has landed.
Yeah, that works. Cool.
And she'll carry on with her business.
Fantastic. Okay, so big race day comes the very next day, obviously. There is an official announcement broadcast on through the open Vox, and a countdown is begun, like on the hour every hour.
Has
And,
if we can ask before we get too far, has Mouse been able to? Can we do a quick roll for see if I can find some? What was it? Inferno shells.
Yeah, he did put it in Discord earlier.
oh, sorry, I must have.
Oh, we're doing acquisitions.
I was going to say inferno shells are common enough. Inferno shells for shotgun. That's fine. You can just have those. I'm not going to bother doing rolls for those. That's fine.
Okay, all right. I'll say I've got a ladder A doohickey of those. A doohickey, that's the technical term.
I was gonna say definitely enough.
Ammo drum.
Yeah, I don't have a couple of ammo drums worth. Okay, it's fine. It's fairly standard, right? I mean, it's just energy damage and then a chance for things to go and fire, right?
I think so. Does it have the exact effects of Inferno? It should somewhere.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's fine. But no, I've no plans to do acquisition rolls. I wouldn't recommend it because I will say, actually, you know what? I'll do it this way. City's contacts have found out that the ship is being monitored every time it comes into dock at the minute. Something to do with spending large amounts of money every time you dock at Footfall.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want, but
To be honest, I don't think Lucius would care, would he?
But we'll sort that for next time. I'm sure he'll be back here soon enough. Anyway,
You said you wanted to do something.
did I?
Yeah, with me.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about that. So basically, Lucia has been you've been trying to get in contact with the cult for the last month or so. You haven't actually successfully done so. There appears to be a blackout of sorts, or I mean, it's gone dark. Simply put, you haven't been able to get in contact with anybody.
Is there a protocol in place for if that happens?
For someone of your position, it's sort of keep your head down and wait for instructions.
Got it.
But don't worry. What route are you going to be taking to Solace and Carmine?
Can we do a final technical check before we leave, just to see if we haven't been, someone's managed to
Oh yeah, sure.
sabotage us even so?
Lucius would, I assume, be doing final checks, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
basically been working. Well, he's got nothing else to do, so he'd be working on the ship.
Cool. Give me take use at +20. We'll see what's going on.
With advantages.
With all your extra stuff, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's an automatic pass, but specifically how much of an automatic pass is what we're interested in.
You're kidding
Are you
me.
serious?
I am re-rolling.
That's amazing. That was a 10% chance to fail.
Yep.
Wow.
That's kind of like the first roll.
Wow.
What
Holy
What?
shit!
what bonuses did he have?
He's like tech as I am with shooting.
There was a 1% chance of that happening again.
Goddamn.
Cool. Yeah.
Ah,
He's sort of.
Like me and pilot.
The ship isn't blown up. So
Is this as far as he knows everything is fine
Yeah.
sort of roll?
It is. That's
Okay.
amazing.
There was a couple of sparks flying out, but he smacked it and it's fine.
Holy shit.
Microsoft.
For the stream,
oh,
that was a 98 followed by a 98. That was a pass on anything 90 and below. Wow.
I should have told him to do it well.
Wow.
You know
Yeah,
why? You know why? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say that was definitely a failure of leadership there. You didn't order him to roll well.
You see, what I think happened there was Theodore did say give him +10 for doing a good job because it's an important thing. But I think we were all speaking that much, we couldn't actually hear him, which would probably make that 0.8 degrees success.
I'm afraid not.
It's
try,
worth
though.
a try.
Okay. So, you're heading to Solace and Carmine. What route are you going to be taking?
the absolute shortest.
Yeah, it seems pretty direct.
Are there any anomalies in between? Using the most direct route, are there any anomalies or?
I was going to say, unless you see what looks like a nebula or something along those lines on the map.
We can't like cut through directly, can it?
That would be ambitious,
Yeah.
to say the least. I mean, so you have two ways of doing this. It would be expected that you would have at least sort of 1 or 2 stops along the way, as far as warp travel is concerned. Likewise, if you end up getting lumped with a bad roll, if you're doing shorter hops, that negates them as much as possible. So the flip side of that, of course, being if you get a particularly good roll, it's not worth as much. So, up to yourself.
Okay, that's like F1. Are they going on a 1 stop or a 2 stop?
What type of tyres would you like to start on, Kill?
Fortune favours the bold. So, should we? Actually, that's not actually that much longer. Yeah. Can we stop off there and then to there? Just grade up.
Okay.
Or do we just go in one go? There's no real short routes. Or many hop route, sorry.
I think a 1 stop is already ambitious. There's quite a large distance between Lucian's Breath and Foulstone.
So yeah, remember so the way the degrees of success on the like warp test roll, 3 plus degrees of success, it will be done in a quarter of the time. 2 degrees half the time, 1 success 3/4 of the time. A straight up success is exactly the time. Failure is double the time. 1 degree 3 times, 2 degrees or more is 4 times the duration. So again, it is that how you want to try and slice it up.
So there's the 2 planets there, the kind of blue one and the one that looks like a weird polo.
Those 2.
The grid above. There's like a blue ball in the grid above. So I can't zoom in on the map that well. Is that a planet or
Oh, the thing that is the Winterscale's realm, like over it. That's like
it's
like a
blue.
massive nebula.
Oh, right. I would probably go with the 2 stops. That way, if anything does happen, you've got a chance to remedy it. Because that last jaunt from... The only thing about doing it, going to that first one and then straight to the destination, is that's a long second part of the trip.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. It's up to you. You're the boss. Do you go for the gamble?
We don't lose anything if we don't win.
Well, we do. We lose whatever the prize is.
But we don't have the prize. We don't lose it. We've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
I mean...
Oh, yeah.
We
have a newly realigned navigator.
I would remind y'all that you do have a particularly fast warp drive.
Yeah, that's the point.
So we can probably afford to take the slightly safer 2-hop.
Precisely. Most like, I mean, I would say most people would have a standard warp drive, and so what's double your time? What? So most people are going to be taking 2 months to get there. Like,
Whereas we're taking nearly just a month.
Yeah.
Go the safer option than the 2-planet route, I'd say.
Okay, but if our navigator rolls like a 1 on our first hop to Foulstone, then you lot owe me some drinks in the All Ranks bar.
well, no, I mean, if you rolls a 1, that means you're going to be there in like 2.5 days. If you rolls a 100, you'll be there in just over a month.
You see what you've got to the way you've got to
that's
think.
what I mean. Because
The way
if
you've
he
got to-
rolled a 1 on this 24.8 days in one fell swoop.
That would have you there in 5 days, yeah.
But the way you got to think about it, and I've just clicked onto this, is a bad roll for us would be a good roll for them because of our warp drive.
Okay, let's use some good old democracy.
Fine.
Who's voting for the 2-stop?
Me.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Also, I'm pretty sure you just said a heretical word there, DM.
did I?
Yeah.
Oh, that one. My apologies.
Yeah, the one that started with D. I
Oh.
mean,
Oof, sorry.
Ugh.
My
That was
Penalise
how you-
yourself.
that would have you taken out back and shot by a commissar, I think.
All right. So
It would improve morale.
first stop is going to be to Milestone. That is, we'll call it 9 days. 9 days. So stage 1, we locate the Astronomicon, the Navigator. This is an awareness test at +10. Well, hey.
Whoa! Now we've got a navigator.
And now because of that, we get to add 30 to the navigation warp test.
Yeah.
Oh!
I'll be honest, before this, we was basically using a GPS from the fucking 90s.
Before this, Sandwich was sneaking into the navigation pod.
He was putting on the helmet, yeah.
Congratulations! You arrive in Filestone in that. I mean, it says a quarter of the time, so yeah, 2 days basically, two and a bit days. You arrive in Filestone. Okay.
Cool.
Next stop.
Can we ping and see if anybody else has arrived at a similar time?
You're currently the only ship in orbit around Filestone.
I would suggest haste and get moving as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Gotta go fast.
Okay. 14 days to Falcon's Fall Gamma. Same again. Locate the Astronomicon.
I kind of want to suggest that as a result of having his brain zapped with knowledge that the navigator now has, whenever he walks into the canteen, spoons start sticking to his head.
And that means we get to add a +40 to the navigation test.
Oh!
Still only
Good
reduces it to a quarter. So what? 4 days, like 3.75 days, roughly, something like that.
So basically, we're going to get there before they even undock.
It's right, yeah, basically. Jesus. Okay, and 7 days to Solace and Cameron.
So in other words, we should give up all that trading malarkey and just become like professional Starship racing team instead.
Highest roll yet. Oh! We win.
Holy shit.
12 parsecs. Done.
I think we win probably by about, 25 days?
Yes, so that was 2.5, 3.5. That took you like what, 9 days?
And it's a 30-day trip.
I order an overhaul to Navigator's sleeping quarters.
We skipped a couple of parsecs there.
Wow.
What?
That's impressive.
Lucia will send a compliment down to Lucius about the quality of his maintenance on the engine.
Oh yeah, also that. Good lord.
Yeah, good lord indeed. It's worth mentioning that I've a strange feeling that the no, whatever. I mean, realistically,
No, he's in the Lance battery.
Yeah.
so the the message from Footfall to like Solace and Carmine to say that the race has begun successfully, beat you by about 2 days, basically.
So that again, we didn't hear the first part.
The like the message like from the astropaths, like the Astra Telepathica, beat you by 2 days. That's it. Like you were almost faster than the fucking astropaths.
I get what you're doing now. Sorry, yeah.
Like
So, yeah.
Mhm.
So if we'd have gone straight from Football, how long would it take? With that first
I
roll?
don't think it would have made a significant difference. So it's 25. Would have been a quarter of that. So, what, 5.5 days?
6.5 days. 5.
I honestly think you should order some extra bits for the for Lucius's quarters or machine bay as well.
Yeah.
Some extra quality oil or something.
Sacred unguents. Anyway, 5-minute break.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I need to see if we've got more lemonade. I've run out of mixer.
That's not a problem.
Yes, but drinking it straight will not be good when it's combined with the painkillers for my knee.
Fine.
Yeah, I done goofed my knee, my friend.
Oh no. And just so you know, the new character, he can do combat, but he's got a hell of a lot of knowledge skills. He's what do you call it, avoidsman?
Old hand.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knowledge skills, as in, common law, Cronus Expanse, all that kind of thing. A lot of them. He's got like 10 or 12 knowledge skills.
He's a walking version of our Codex Astartes. He supports our actions.
Yeah, he's basically he's been done up as a proper naval officer.
Excellent.
Hence why he has a boarding shotgun and stuff.
So you're bringing him on just in time for me to gain more insanity points and start causing problems.
But his specialty is the guns. He can pilot, but his version of piloting to your version of piloting would be like Sandwich's version of intelligence to Killslim's version of intelligence.
So it's basically, throwing Phil up against fucking Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Basically. He can fly like a shuttle or something, but
I say that with a shit-eating grin on my face, considering I've been in Phil's car.
He can fly a shuttle, but
nothing fancy.
Yeah, he can get from A to B.
Sorry,
he couldn't do the loop like you can.
Sorry, I got back and heard I've been in Phil's car.
We were describing the difference between my guy. I was just saying what my guy's got is mostly knowledge skills and stuff. Though he can fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying he has got fly shuttle. But I said the difference between, and I did my version of difference, and then he said, "Oh, you mean the difference between Lewis Hamilton driving a car and Phil driving a car?"
Hey, that's fair. I know I can't drive as
Hey.
well as Lewis Hamilton.
I'll give you this, Phil. You drive better than we do.
Fucking right, I do.
I've not even been in his car, but I know.
But basically, sorry, go on.
I mean, he's a fairy, so what do you expect?
Exactly.
And I was going to go on to say, the only reason I drive better than you, Phil, is I have some years on you when it comes to driving.
Even at that, I mean, I've almost got like another year of driving under my belt since the last time you were here. So
Have you still
in
got
fact-
your R plates?
God no.
It is a year.
In fact, yeah, I've
Year
got
in
like
November.
I've got like a full year or like driving on me after that. So yeah.
So do I.
Well, yeah, but
Ha ha ha, 6 years. My time is fleeting.
yeah, difference
No,
being
no, it'll
I
be
was
7
like,
years.
yeah, whatever.
Holy
But
shit.
the basic premise of him is his family have served on that ship for like 15 to 16 generations. The same ship.
All I'm saying, Phil.
The
You've got a
older.
little bit to catch up on me. I mean, it took me 5 years to get points on my license. You've got another 3 years.
That's fine. I wasn't really,
3 years to
planning on
beat.
getting points in my license because I kind of like my insurance being a bit cheaper.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
really plans on getting points.
Well, don't worry. The first time
Oh.
that you go through a red light or get caught by a speed camera, you'll be given an option to go to a seminar on safe driving.
Yeah. I think it depends what
12
you got
years,
given
I've
your
yet to be
points for.
caught for anything.
Oh, I had some really shitty luck. I need to get a drink. I keep getting distracted. Back in a sec.
But yeah, he's basically like an old veteran, naval officer type thing.
I just
Drunk then.
you know what? I imagine that's probably how they met. Fucking Constantine getting drunk under the table twice.
Well, that's how we did when I was speaking to Dodge about him. I said the pair of them will probably actually be drinking buddies in the bar, trying to outdrink each other most nights and playing silly pranks on the crew and stuff.
I was kind of tempted to have Mouse just give him a really hand crushing handshake and see how much he could take.
He would have
describing him as big and burly.
He would have
100%.
actually appreciated that. He'd have seen it as kind of a little competition. He'd have liked it, even if he'd have lost.
We'll have to work that in still at some point.
Yeah. I'd well up for that. And he'd actually like that kind of thing.
I mean, it's worth pointing out that you've got, I think, about 2.5 months on a pleasure world before, anyway.
So there's plenty of time for Mouse in his negligee, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I think there is going to be a scene where Mouse drinks an excessive amount and ends up in a negligee.
How much would be excessive for Mouse, though? I mean, that's
About half a brewery.
yeah. You'd have to bring out at least a couple of,
Negligible
barrels.
amounts.
Or we'd have to do a very risky acquisition roll on a thimble of Fenrisian ale.
I mean, it'd be an acquisition roll on some negligee to fit.
Is Fenrisian ale? Is that basically? Oh, that's the stuff that the Space Wolves drink, isn't it?
Yeah. And that stuff is supposed to be from lore, like
Yeah,
space fuel.
that's like beyond even a Pangalactic Gargle Blaster.
Yeah. It's good enough to get a space marine drunk.
I mean, that's where the phrase "it's like rocket fuel" comes from. So rocket fuel, way back when, was just almost pure ethanol.
There's an amusing scene in one of the Ragnar books, yes, Space Wolves, and he gets rather overly drunk, and the book describes him coming out of the crew quarters with a bucket on his foot. And it's just that image of a space marine with a huge bucket on his foot. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, for anyone interested, there's the link to Calliagos Winterscale. He's somewhat of a badass. I mean, there is a sort of career path, I suppose, or like alternate career you can take eventually at like rank 5 or 6, something like that, called Legend of the Expanse. Calliagos Winterscale is pretty much the definition of Legend of the Expanse.
Okay. Received and read.
And I quote, "What is known for sure about Calliagos is the stuff of legend. He ran the cruiser of the dread freebooter, Captain Snagrash de Berna, led the boarding party, and hewed his head from his shoulders. He rammed an orc cruiser."
I just came back to he rammed an orc cruiser. What's happened?
No, Calliagos Winterscale. Put the link in Roll20. The guy that is that's hosting this race on his pleasure world. This is, he owns this pleasure world straight up. That's
Quite pleasurable. What the fuck is that?
That sounded like a coffee grinder.
I was going to say.
It was a shredder, actually.
Ah.
I'm just downstairs making a cup of tea, and my wife says to shred some paperwork.
I was going to say that somebody's
Yeah,
server floor is having a spaz attack.
No, you're just fucking shredding a borrower from the sounds of it.
Killslim. I was just going to say, has Killslim been toying with his shredder and turning it into like a, a mega shredder?
Mega shred.
Turtle's worst nightmare.
Anyway, who are we missing?
I'm back.
Who's missing? We have a Killslim.
Yep.
I think that's everybody then. Oh, you're still here, yeah?
We're missing Midge.
Calling all pointed Jedis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There we go.
Just quickly was dashing to the bathroom, but never mind. I'm back now.
Sweet. Okay, so you guys have arrived in orbit about... I'm going to say about 3 to 5 weeks before anyone was expected. So... yeah?
I can only imagine how much swagger Constantine would be, walking around the place with.
I think Pointy's just hit the biggest nail on the biggest head.
No, that's mine.
So, the only ships that in orbit are sending IDs that they are from House Winterscale. And you're pinged a docking berth.
Have I received that, by the way, now?
You have,
Or...
yes. You received that pretty much as soon as you came into orbit.
Is the What does the planet itself look like? Just to give us a bit of an idea.
It's a pleasure world. It's an excuse me, an Earth. It's an Earth-like planet, with slightly larger oceans and a more ideal climate. Best way to put it.
Okay, so a lovely kind of looking, blue-green looking kind of.
Yep, very
world.
much so. It's
If the Bahamas covered the globe,
that's fairly accurate actually. That works.
without the hurricanes, obviously.
There's a couple of sort of small hives in sort of choice locations, for everybody's everybody's convenience really. But there's no like mass pollution. There's resorts everywhere. There's some other lovely little sort of tidbits of luxury that we'll get to in a minute. Because you guys are going to have quite a bit of time to kill here before everybody else arrives. So after you dock up in your berth, and step out. Well, actually, no. I suppose. Yeah. So you get to your docking berth, and you're given like a landing site on the one of the main hives. So for the cutter to go down in, I suppose. I assume everybody's going down.
No.
Okay.
You might get reports of a lot of very loud, weaponized noises coming from Lucia's room. And a lot of, I don't know what the word would be, not screaming, but anger, if you get what I mean. And when anybody, and when anybody tries to, any haphazard crewmen who have tried to see if everything's all right, they receive various injuries and are thrown straight out the room. And she will only say two names, Scythia or the captain.
Okay.
And that would be the vague messages you get.
Would I hear wind of this? If so, I send Scythia bravely.
Specifically to Scythia? Or would you go yourself?
I mean, if people are coming back with injuries, I don't want to stride into eternal glory with any injuries.
Fair enough. In which case, Scythia comes down to chat to Lucia.
She will basically, her room will be a complete mess with everything broken.
That will be, of course, marked as very unusual, and Scythia will ask what.
She'll be sitting in the corner, and she will just point at the data slate.
Fair enough.
She just doesn't trust herself to say anything at the moment.
Okay. And for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to share this with everybody. So Scythia will pick up the data slate, read it, and this is what it will say. Scythia will simply take the data slate and say, I will handle this. I'll pass on to the captain, and I will come up with, I will get you information.
And she will say simply three words: they will die.
Nods her head, understanding, and heads off with the data slate. Okay. So, who will be going down to the planet to meet the delegation of celebration?
Me.
Lucius will go.
Bass would be up for a
Yeah. Fair enough.
Sounds like there'd be plenty of saluting to do, so that's his idea of a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. gonna be loads of that. Okay, cool. So you head on down to the planet. It becomes very apparent. This world has been like never been populated in any grand scale. Everything looks as fresh out of the box as you can get for a planet. Like the forests and landscapes are pristine, look completely untouched. As soon as you get closer to the hive, you see what looks like almost like a giant redwood forest. Like it makes redwoods look like twigs in comparison. Like these massive trees have trunks, you know, sort of sort of width of like a small family car, for example. Uh,
These trunks have trunks.
yeah, the trunks have trunks. It's trunks squared. Anyway,
Square trunks.
you know what I mean.
It's a world tree.
Yeah, but it's entire fucking forest of them. Huge. Oh, you know the forest in Attack on Titan, kind of like that. That's sort of
Nice.
Bigger.
I was thinking Ewoks myself, but sure, okay.
no, like the like Attack on Titan's forest. That sort of that scale. Anyway, you drive down to what would appear to be the top of the spire on the hive, like the primo tip topo toppest most highest landing pad in the entire spire. You're a best guess would say you're being received by Calliagos Winterscale himself. Is anybody going to make any adjustments to themselves or anything of the sort?
As the shuttle is kind of flying down, Mouse is just in the back, like literally practicing his salutes, just to make sure they are like 10 out of 10 perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd give my weapons and armor once over and ensure that my cloak is free to flutter.
I think I
Aesthetics
always
are
look
irrelevant for
presentable.
machines.
You could always have like broken out a tin of brasso or something just to shine yourself up a bit. Sorry, sacred unguents.
So, okay, fair enough. So on your final approach, you see a very small delegation on the landing pad itself. Sort of 6 guards and fairly well dressed, but butler-looking servant type person. Be awaiting you when you step out of the shuttle. So, Theodore, when you step outside, you get possibly the deepest, most professional bow you've ever received. This bow is as perfect and crisp as one of Mouse's best salutes. This is the quality we're talking about right here. Like you wish you'd staff that could bow to you like this.
I give Mouse a look as if to say, take note of that. needing that for later.
My Lord Constantine, it has been noted that you've arrived, and my Lord Winterscale is waiting for you in a reception. And congratulations to your winning the first part of the race. I must say myself, I was not expecting you to arrive so soon. Where we were expecting the first visitors to arrive. And he sort of checks a rather complicated looking watch in his wrist. Approximately 3 weeks from now. But we are prepared nonetheless. If you would kindly follow me, my lord.
I gesture for him to lead the way.
He gives you another like perfectly executed, crisp theatric bow, and turns on heel and marches off, sort of perfectly stiff back. You once again wishing you had staff like this yourself.
I tilt my chin by several degrees and stand that just a little bit taller.
Yes. So you get led through what's obviously been a very well prepared reception area. This is maybe not necessarily his primary residence, but this is definitely the I would say the public achievements of Calliagos Winterscale that you're being led through right now. Everything is been very well organized and presented. Some various trophies of sort of victories. There's some rather fancy looking clothes which don't have any like apparent significance at a glance. There's this is what you notice to be an Omnesian axe in a display case. It's lots of various relics and whatnot. You see what would appear to be like the chin guard off a war boss. Lots of like
Just a chin guard.
yeah, literally just like the metal jaw off a yeah.
Mhm.
There are small small like data plaques below each of these, but it's not quite the time or the place, really, is it? You eventually get led up into what would appear to be almost the very tip top of the spire, and into like a fantastic like drawing area of sorts. There's drinks laid out on a table and like fantastic view, and it is luxury in every sense. For the rest of you, I mean, this is something special. Like, what you've seen of Theodore's on the ship I mean, it's nothing. Like Theodore's practically a beggar compared to the wealth you're seeing on display right now. That's how significant this all is. The unnamed butler will sort of pause in the middle of the room, give you a sort of nice gesture towards it, and say, "My lord, with you soon. Please make yourself at home, and help yourself to any refreshments that you wish. If you require any further assistance from myself or the staff, please ring any of the bells you see around the room." And about that, you'll notice there's the little tingly bell on the table, and a few other little tactically placed places right there if you require the help. So, half an hour or so passes. How will everybody be helping themselves in this fantastic suite? There are food and drinks. There is a there is a pool outside some doors, and pretty much whatever you could want here, really.
I think Mouse would actually be kind of just behaving himself and just kind of standing off at one side and kind of, standing at what would it be, like parade rest, or like fairly formal kind of yeah. Because he's a bit uncomfortable in extremely formal situations.
Fantastic.
Whereas Constantine is very at ease in very formal situations, and is determined to make the very best impression. So holds himself, as will be becoming of a aspiring young rogue trader.
Oh, boys, I'm going to get a drink. You said there was a bar, right?
Oh yeah, there's a bar. It's filled with many things that you've never even heard of, but look fancy nonetheless.
Having said what I've said, actually, I think Mouse would at some point try and like sneak some crab puffs or whatever there would be. Kind of discreetly shove a few in his mouth.
Sure.
Discreetly just crunching on crisps.
What about Lucius? What's his take on all this wealth?
Honestly, not sure. He'd be impressed by some of the more technical aspects of it, but he understandably doesn't really give a shit about, the luxuries of food and drink, considering he needs neither of them, and so on and so forth. So I'm not really sure what he'd be doing.
Fair enough.
The flesh is weak.
Are there drugs?
Probably.
Oh.
Probably
You
on.
asked that in a-
I was going to say probably on request, but
The way you asked that was fucking beautiful.
well, I was going to say for Lucius, he would note that all the construction is very.
Sorry. The co-op point is put in Discord.
I was gonna... Fantastic.
I was inspired.
So not quite as good as the Whiskey Delta 40. You know what I mean?
I don't know that one. Oh yes, okay, yes. Now my brain took a moment to yeah.
Basically. Anyway. Funny fact, that's pretty much what Sacred Ingredients is. WD-40. Anyway. I was gonna say, as far as Lucius is concerned, it's all like very fresh construction. Like it's all been built within like a matter of decades rather than centuries. So I suppose the like how cleanly it's all been like integrated into the environment around it and that sort of thing. I suppose that would probably be the most impressive bit. So after sort of about half an hour of letting you simmer and relax and acquaint yourselves with the drinks cabinet, the butler says from sort of a slightly raised platform at one end of the room, "My Lord Constantine and guests, may I present my Lord Calliagos Winterscale." And we'll do a very deep bow and shuffle off to the side. And hang on. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to say Mouse does the salute that he's been practicing all this time, but can I roll for it?
Oh yeah.
Because one of the things I've got is paranoid, which is -10 to interaction skill tests in formal environments, which is not quite covered by this, but I so want to roll for this.
This is the most formal of environments.
Yeah. So it's. I don't know if paranoia quite covers it, but the -10 certainly seems to fit in well. So yeah. So what do I want to roll here?
Ooh.
How encouraging a look can I give him across the room?
I feel you could give a +20 to such a thing. This is pretty much what Calliagos Winterscale looks like. Fairly normal dude.
As he bursts into the room.
Not quite, no. What are you doing in my pleasure world?
Oh, fuck.
Let's see what we've got for mice.
Fellowship, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think like a flat
Charm? I don't know.
Willpower.
Because
he's willing himself to do it as best as he can.
I mean, fellowship or willpower roll. I'll let you decide, Pointy, which one you think would be.
Well, willpower would definitely be the better one. So it would be what, +20 but -10, so +10 overall.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yes.
What number was that? Yeah, you know what? That's you reckon it's probably it's like top 5 salutes, possibly top 3. In fact, you're pretty sure it's top 3 of your salutes, even the ones you practiced and you weren't sure anybody actually saw. So I think that's pretty good.
Mouse is extra pleased we managed to, oh,
Yeah. And how's everybody else going to respond to? This dude that owns a whole slice of a subsector. What do you think? What's the dealio here? How's everybody going to react?
I would probably give a like a fluttery, like not deep bow, but just like a get the cape like fluttering behind and
Slightly deeper than normal.
deeper than you would ever normally see a rogue trader give.
Sounds good. Fair enough. And Hendrickson and Jack. Lucius, what's the procedure here?
Lucius would probably be doing some weird shit in the corner when he walks in, because he's not interested in the drink and shit like that. He'd probably be like scratching a tiny bit of paint off the wall and testing it for quality, like.
I was going to suggest talking to a lampshade, but no, I think that's better.
Do you come here often?
Ladies.
So when Calliagos walks in, I guess he's caught a little bit off guard. But yeah, I guess he would weirdly show some sign of respect, even if it is kind of casual. He would give a bow of some description. Which is more than what he's ever given to Theodore.
Theodore
And then
takes note.
Yeah, that's the extent of what he would do.
Fair enough.
You literally feel Theodore's eyes burning your circuitry from across the room.
Fair enough. And last but not least, Hendrickson, what's the dealio?
I was mid-swig when he walked in, so I chugged my drink before bowing.
Fair enough. Cool.
Then continue to finish the drink.
So Calliagos will pretty much, I wouldn't say blank your stuff, but will basically sort of bounce on down the stairs. It's his house. He's bounce on down the stairs, casually as anything. Slaps Theodore in the shoulder and says, "You're Theodore's boy, right?"
I am indeed.
Yeah, I bumped into him a couple of times. Yeah, good guy. So
I've heard what happens when you bump into people.
you just did a what my navigator and all my guys said was going to be a what? Let's be generous here and say good crew does it in what 40 days. You guys did it in 9.5. I haven't done it in less than 2 weeks myself, but 9.5 days. What's the secret? I know you didn't cheat. Don't worry. I've been well informed that you were there at the starting line, but 9.5 days. Pretty impressive.
You'd be surprised what a little bit of gentle persuasion of your navigator will do. Just a gentle reminder of his responsibilities. And
He's giving you a very dark and serious look right now. As if you
As is
then
Lucius.
laugh it off.
still giving you a dark and serious look. Anyway.
Yeah.
He just slaps you in the back again, possibly a little bit harder than you were expecting, and as well, we've all got our tricks, don't we?
I guess I'm waiting in vain for you to quote Han Solo.
you would indeed be waiting in vain.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Lucius would chime in and help, whispering over the Vox in Rogue Trader account just in case someone hears him, and he would say, "My lord, mention the engines."
Of course, having superior engines, traveling light helps somewhat.
Superior engines, you say? Interesting. So, so you arrived first. I expect you think you've won this already, don't you?
Well, no, your butler mentioned the first part of the race, so
Ah,
one
did
would
he?
assume that there is a
I was hoping to break that to you
a second.
myself, but so what's actually happened is you've won pole position in the planetside race.
Fantastic.
Smiles in alcohol.
Which, tell you what, since you arrived first, and I can't imagine anyone showing up for another 2 weeks at least. I think we can give you a sneak peek. You haven't been doing this. Haven't been representing your family very long, have you, Theodore?
Unfortunately not, but what I lack in experience, I make up with gusto, as you can plainly see.
Sort of waggles his finger at you a little bit. That's a good response. Might get somewhere someday. Hopefully, if you don't die. But for now, allow me to show you and your crew the grand prize. He himself leads you on down back through the, I suppose, museum of sorts, and sort of makes sort of passing whimsical comments and some of the things, and sort of pass on down and sort of you see, he's obviously a little bit sentimental, not entirely full of himself, but leads on back to the shuttle bay and waves like one of his own ground crew over and gets his own gun cutter brought round and takes you on round to a rather large hangar bay. And in that hangar bay, there are two. Who has Common Lord War?
Mouse?
War, Imperial Guard stuff, Astartes, I don't know, general Imperial equipment, I guess.
Closest I've got is tech and machine cult.
Imperium.
That would probably cover it, wouldn't it? Machine cult.
Yeah, I think Machine Cult will cover it. I'll take rolls at a +10 on all those, War and Machine Cult. Imperial Navy, I suppose, would work as well.
Bloody hell, there's your rolls, Lucius.
Imperial Navy.
Yeah, totally when I need it.
Yeah, Imperial Navy would work, yeah.
+10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair enough. Well, Hendrickson, you'd be impressed by this nonetheless.
Yes.
Uh,
That upsets me. Because that already has +10 in it.
so there are two
Ooh.
Thunderhawk gunships. And Lucius, you in particular know that they're absolutely pristine. These things are as fresh off the line as you can physically get.
Do they have that new machine spirit smell?
They do indeed.
Give me one, please.
I was going to cut him, but I didn't want to interrupt his speech that you better get some tissues handy.
So there are two of these sitting in a two of these brand new sitting in a brand new hangar, and Calliagos sort of steps on in, sort of turns around to you and sort of just gauges your reactions. First off, so the winner of the race gets one of these. I had in Archmagos at one of the manufactorums that he owed me a favor, and I got a couple of these spec'd off the line with some personal touches.
There's Tauros assault vehicles in the latter half of that
There are.
that page.
So, he sort of gestures towards you and let's follow, and sort of on approach to one of them, the sort of front ramp sort of goes down, and there are indeed two customized Taurus assault vehicles sitting at the top of the ramp. And he simply says, "Have a look."
Lucius, with his extensive racing pedigree of skill, I guess he'll inspect the Tauros, get in the driver's seat, have a look around.
All I want to know is how far is Hendrickson's hand down his pants?
To the shoulder.
I have just contorted myself into. Just, I am the origami man.
Yeah, Lucius would note that the assault vehicles have been lengthened ever so slightly so that they can accommodate. There's like a bench seat behind the driver sort of thing. They can accommodate a little bit of extra. Well, 3 extra people basically. There's 2 of them.
Ogryn.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I've already disappeared from you. I'm making my own inspections to the ships. Glorious.
Lucius would speak up and say, most impressive, Sir Winterscale. As far as I'm aware, these vehicles are reserved exclusively for the Elysian drop troops. Were these also a favour from the Magos you mentioned?
Yes, indeed. Like I said, it's a big favor. And he sort of just touches his nose.
Lucius would be nodding in approval of these vehicles.
Yeah. So, he just says, so, by all means, well, as the winners of pole position, I see no reason why you don't deserve the VIP treatment. Excuse me. Ugh. So I don't see why you don't deserve the VIP treatment here in Solus until we get our 10 people for the race. You would be right in understanding the first 10 people to arrive will be racing. For yourself, Lord Constantine, you yourself don't have to be on the ship that you choose to fly this race in, but it's a pretty good story, isn't it? Up to yourself. We will expect you to. You've brought one ship here, therefore you can one ship in the atmospheric race. I assume you have such a ship. Perhaps the cutter you came down in.
That would be
So
the usual go-to.
what I'm hearing is we've got like a month to soup up the engines of the cutter.
Ooh.
I'm going to take some of that time to practice the run. Assuming we know the run.
Calliagos simply sort of wags his finger a little bit, saying, "No, that would be unfair." What I would say is that you have free run of the planet. Feel free to. You're of course my VIP special guests, and I will extend every courtesy to you. However, the specific details of the track will be kept secret until the day before the race, so that nobody can be going around doing any sabotaging, as I know people of our people of our profession
Occupation.
would tend to do. And he just sort of says, I pass you back over to my butler, and please, if there's anything urgent, please shout. Lord Constantine, I will see you for, say, dinner tomorrow night, and you can tell me of your first months as a rogue trader, and see if there's any wisdom to be gained. And otherwise, prepare for the race.
Yeah, I'm just going to take most of my time just.
Stroking it.
You wouldn't know, because I will be in the cutter just flying around the planet as fast as I can. General practice.
Fair enough. Oh, crap.
Taking different routes each time.
That is a thing of beauty.
Is combat going to be a part of this race?
It will, at some point. I will say there is a there is a point in the race where it becomes weapons free. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I think Lucius might have plans for the cutter.
yeah. I wanted to do the race tonight, but it's going to take longer than I think we really should. This could go on quite a bit. I've got like a whole like thing planned out for it. There's like 2, 3, 10, 10 plus rolls in relation to it, and obviously nobody else has arrived yet. So yeah.
Well, we could always take ourselves up to the point where we would be, getting ready to race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go through the prep. A couple of particular people arriving, and we'll cut off about a week or so before the actual race. So, for the next I said 3 weeks. For the next 2 weeks, in particular, you literally have the entire planet effectively to yourselves. There's a few random nobles. There's people sort of coming in from all over to see the race specifically. Calliagos has put you up in quarters a few floors down from his own from the fancy place you were received in the first place. Constantine, you're having dinner with him most nights, and give me a fellowship roll with whatever relevant modifiers you think you would have on it. That's yeah, pure nobility definitely, etiquette definitely.
Renown warrant.
That wouldn't really cut much mustard with him, to be fair. But it's a round test.
With those who understand the importance of the warrant.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, all right, fine. Go for it. So that's plus 30 then.
Pay to win, baby.
No. I'm re-rolling.
Holy shit.
You're rolling that.
Wow.
Still
Perfect
barely a
100
pass.
and it's still
Good
a
lord.
-1.
Yeah.
Need to stay off the Amasec, my friend.
That's bad. Anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
that means if it was a charm check, even with 100, I'd still pass.
Yeah,
Plus 30.
yeah, an exact pass. But anyway, that's fair enough. So yeah, you're getting on. You're getting on. Yeah, I think it would be fair to say you're still like a little bit maybe intimidated by his position and standing, and not really
Jumping
wanting
through
to.
doors with power axes.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, it gives you but after a few nights you've got the full rundown of you've got the sort of behind the scenes look at some of his various famous exploits. He has indeed shown you his power axe, famously known as Breaker. It's very very imaginative, I know. Not a euphemism, Pointy.
Yeah, sorry. That's where my brain automatically went.
His Stormbolter, which is named Hostile Argument, and a mono honed knife called Fair Point. But yeah, those weeks go by. There's some casual galas and whatnot. Some nobles that Calliagos knows, and you've been sort of invited along as his special guest. And you're the only one of his race there for the first couple of weeks, so you're getting constantly asked how you made it here quite so quickly. And yeah, it's I assume you handle it with some relative grace, with just about scraping that fellowship. We'll assume there's some ups and downs in that. How has everybody been treating
Could I take?
Hmm?
I was going to say, could I take the time to maybe embellish a little bit on our trip? Throw in a couple of old stories from previous trips and make it sound like it wasn't all plain sailing.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a deceive roll, flat.
Rolling that again.
Have to reroll that.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. Clearly listening to Calliagos tell his many tales, you're not quite sure how tall they are. You're inclined to believe all of them, but you sort of weave the nasty bits into your story as much in the same sort of format, and everybody is eating it the fuck up. You've got lots of some nobles that have very clearly never left their high spires and powder rooms. And they're very entertained, including some admittedly rather inbred but very eligible ladies. Anyway, so on peculiarly enough, on the very same day, 3 ships show up, almost like within an hour of each other. Uncle Alexander shows up. He is second, so congratulations. That's 2 from the Constantine dynasty, taking first and second place. You have a peculiar character called Elza Brandt, who you get informed is an ex-Imperial Navy captain, not initially from any family name, but won her writ via a bet with the previous Lord Brandt, who then named her the sole heir and renounced his title. Don't know what the bet was, but yeah. And last but not least, Anthony Whimsett,
But of course.
taking up 4th place.
Smells of elderberries.
A couple of days after that, everybody else starts trickling in. I was going to say, your grandfather comes in, sort of 6th place. 5th place went to a particular road trader called Alexis Paravorn. 7th went to a trader called Carlisle LaRue. Gave a look Croft, have a look Thrace, and in 10th place, Ignatius wins it. So, everybody's here. Ignatius Wims arrived last, and so the Grand Prix, as it's been named, has been scheduled for 3 days hence. So everybody can have a nice party and get their hangovers long gone. Time to make up some, well, real improvements to ships and whatnot. What kind of things have you been doing to prepare for the race?
Can I just interject a
You
little
may,
bit?
yes.
If anyone catches sight of Lucia, she literally a couple of days after the incident, she will go once a day to the chapel, and you'll see on her face mask that the 3 red tears under the left cheek and a small white skull under the right cheek, and she literally does not speak to anyone.
You already know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I have some questions. Will Theodore be taking his place on the cutter when this potentially very deadly race is happening? Will there be any tech support on the ship? And will there be a co-pilot?
Lucius
I'd
will
be
be
inclined
on the
to say
ship.
yes.
On the cutter, that is.
Would we have had sufficient time to tune up the engines and make sure it's flying the best it can fly?
Yeah. Give me a tech use roll at a plus. I mean, you've got 3 weeks. You know what? That's I feel like that's a plus 10 per week, so plus 30. So tech use plus 30 as base, and do whatever else you would put onto that.
That's for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an auto pass.
Auto pass, but we need to see just how good you do, how good a job you do.
What the fuck is with my rolls tonight?
Man, great rolls tonight.
Whoa.
Gotta say, well done, well done.
You know what? Seeing as we're not doing the race this session, and this might affect our race performance, I'm going to use my last reroll on.
By all means. There you go.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
It is purring like a kitten on catnip.
Ah, give me that Noz. Space Noz.
I was going to say, so the cutter is quite literally running as best as it's ever been ran. Lucius has, very much got into the engineering bay and reordered some things and sort of tweaked the flow of some pipes and replaced a few minor things, and generally reorganized the place and familiarized himself with it so much that he has the confidence to make any changes and sort of tweaks that he would be able to in flight with absolute confidence. I dare
like
say,
to
I dare.
Remind me again of the. Oh.
Say?
No, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, remind me again of the weaponry on board the cutter.
The cutter has an autocannon and 2 bolters, 2 heavy bolters.
Forward facing?
The
Go ahead.
autocannon is the 2 bolters are sides.
Yep, 2 bolt. The 2. I think.
Could we fit something rearwards facing, considering we're in pole position?
Can just jettison some bombs.
I mean,
Ooh.
it could work.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the bolters are gimbaled, so they can shoot backwards. But
Just literally strap Mouse to the back with his gun.
Oh, hang on.
Mouse in a void suit.
Yeah, you can just fire at them. It'll be fine.
It is in atmosphere.
I'd like to point out there are still 2 RPGs on board.
It is in atmosphere, so don't worry about that.
rockets are extremely hard to hit anything with. If we're talking like aircraft to aircraft.
I mean, if we end up flying in like a canyon or anything, we don't need to necessarily hit the ships.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if I get your idea.
I
Is there
mean,
anything else?
it doesn't have a rear hatch, so good luck with that.
I think he meant like just firing forwards and then, I don't know, causing a landslide or something.
Can we jury rig it so the rockets fire with the autocannon?
The one of the quirks of the gun cutter is that all the weapons can be pilot controlled. So
Or they could be controlled by someone else while you're concentrating on what you're doing, as in flying.
correct.
I have a solution.
I'm gonna leave the two fucking bolters to
Okay.
other people anyway. I'll be controlling the auto.
So yeah, that's the mouse solution basically.
We're going to cut a hole in the roof, and then we're going to like install like a shield so that whoever's sticking their head out can't, doesn't get their head ripped off by wind. So it's like a World War II like bomber, and then we're going to have like the servitor stick out the back.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the Serenity thing and strap a howitzer on the top. That you turn by cranking a wheel.
I don't know how well that would work in atmosphere though.
Also, I'm fairly sure that was a Bofors, not a howitzer.
It was a space gun because it was in Serenity. I'll call it what it is. And that is anything I can say it is.
I think we're not really going to be able to do that much.
We're going to leave the gun cutter alone. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I would suggest leaving it as a gun cutter and not
An abomination.
correct.
We could just, I don't know. I don't know if we've like reached absolute peak performance, but we could just chuck out anything that's non-critical.
Yeah, that's a damn good
Sorry,
idea,
Jack.
actually.
You're getting jettisoned.
Any piece of equipment that is not needed, get rid of. But temporarily, of course.
I'm just saying the first few hours of his routine checks and tweaks, my character was reeing uncontrollably.
Yeah, I'll double check the weapons specifically. I'm fairly sure the heavy bolters are gimbaled and so could fire backwards, but but the autocannon is forward facing only.
Yeah. Autocannon's fixed.
No, it's not fixed, but it is forward.
I'm pretty sure they are gimbaled.
It's forward facing though.
2 weeks wouldn't be enough to like create a turret and then install it, would it?
No, definitely not. No.
Yeah, I thought so.
At the same time, you're on a pleasure world, so I mean, okay, fine, yeah, you can fly back up to the ship, but even then, fairly.
We don't have any guns like that we can install ad hoc other than the RPGs, right?
Pretty much, and even then, the RPGs are a bit, yeah.
They're a bit naff, yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we're pretty much at the end of session, I am going to give you a little, well, not in character sneak peek, but I'll give you a peek at the track.
I do want to say that just entirely for flavor's sake, for the entire time we've been enjoying the hospitality here, Mouse has just been continually ordering platters of crab puffs to his room.
Nice. Okay, so just to explain how the map works, obviously the grey part hexagon you see there is the spire. Shut up, I know. It's impossible to get proper maps for this sort of shit, so fucking deal with it. You've got the start finish line.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay,
wasn't.
fair enough. And the race will go clockwise from the start finish line. Everywhere you see a yellow circle is a roll. You'll note a couple of particularly nasty places. like so here and here. It's two 90-degree turns in rather dense, like doom redwood. Over here is a vertical U-turn, where you'll be going vertical to an altitude and doing a maneuver to like fall back down to earth.
It'd just be like Beggar's Canyon back home, Hendrickson.
That's the idea, yeah. So it's more. I suppose it's more of a flavor thing, but there's going to be a general rule of there's indiscriminate AA batteries that have been placed around to have an artificial ceiling of canopy level, other than like over this spot, basically.
So if you fly too low, the AA batteries open up.
If you fly too high, the AA batteries
too
open up. Yes. So that forcing everybody to fly through the forest rather than over it.
Yep.
Yes. Obviously, this is going to be a like skim the beach sort of thing. Like on the deck, open, fast, not weapons free, because the forest itself is a weapons free zone. So obviously that having a decent gunner in there helps, because every single roll is going to be rather meaningful negatives. And up around here we have the spire portion, where you'll be racing around the spires, because the nobles that don't want to leave their house still need some entertainment. Obviously.
Maybe they need someone who can re-roll gunner re-rolls.
And then as soon as you're back out from over the spire, it is a weapons free zone all the way up until the start finish line.
Excellent.
Hey, you know one interesting manoeuvre you might be able to pull off, Connor?
We're going to try a barn swallow.
No, if someone gets too close to you and you're going at fast speeds, suddenly fly underneath them and then suddenly jerk up, so that they have to avoid you and they accidentally go too high and get shot down.
You're going to mess with the newt, you're going to get the shoot.
Valid tactic.
Okay. Pretty much done. I would have one little thing. So would Lucia be coming down from the ship at any point?
She will if she's asked to by either Scythia or the captain.
Fair enough.
She will come down.
In that case, Scythia
she
will come back up probably about a week before, about 2 or 3 days after Alexis Paravorn arrives, and informs you that there is indeed a bounty in her head, which is what you can assume the Sisters of the Death Cult were trying to get. She gives you like a full profile of her. Long silver hair, Ogryn butler, in air quotes. The information was wrong, which was perhaps why the sisters went awry. She herself is an unsanctioned psyker. And the golden staff she's carrying around acts as a side booster. It's not a particularly powerful one, but that's the information.
As she's talking with Scythia, the first thing she'd do, now she's calmed down through prayer and stuff, she would apologise to Scythia for her earlier condition.
Sort of like wave your hand off as if it doesn't matter, it's fine thing.
She will then give her a kind of sideways glance and say, "Can you help with this in any way?"
Sort of ponders it a second and asks, "How would you like assistance with this? Like a situation created?"
Not gonna lie, you said woman with silver hair and a big Ogryn butler, and this is what popped in my mind.
Oh, right, yeah.
She will ask if she could get Mouse to come and visit her, to speak with him, and she would ask if there's any way, because the one thing she's not sure about is dealing with people with psychic abilities. So she would ask for some help with that. Not inferring anything, just asking for help.
Fair enough. So if you'll say to leave some details to her, and we'll see what she can do as far as creating a situation to allow you a confrontation is concerned.
She will say, and she will get that slight bit of emotion in the voice, and just say one of us will die.
Gives you a curt nod, and says, I'll have my sent up soon. Mice! Cynthia sort of gives you a nudge and tells you to go see Lucia. And it's serious.
Okay, I'll give a salute. And head on his
Crab
way.
cakes go everywhere.
Yeah, it's literally every time he moves, like a few, just like crumbs are just kind of continuously falling out of his armor.
Actually,
Just little flakes of pastry.
I was going to say, we can make it even more interesting and say that, you know, Mice is down, sort of chowing down in the crab cakes and on the sort of on the hive.
Takes a platter with him.
Yeah, gets a vox from orbit saying he's recalled up to the ship because he needs to go talk to Lucia, and it's high priority.
Needs a snack for the journey.
That's it.
Takes the entire table with him.
Well, when you enter, she will stand up and come over to you. I don't know if you'd be able to tell she's very fidgety, like still kind of seething, but she's controlling. And she will read to you from the data slate exactly what it says.
What language is she reading in?
Oh, just Low Gothic. It's been a month, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a month.
By this point, yeah.
Trying to undermine it, Theodore. Ah.
She will read you what it says.
Animation.
She will read you what it says and explain that when it says sisters killed, she means her sisters of the cult, and that she's and explains that this woman will die. It will either be her or this woman will die. And I don't know if Mace is any good at sensing emotions, but you can tell that there is real, kind of venom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
I think he'd probably know her well enough at this point to know not to, try and piss her off when she's in a scary kind of mood.
But she will say, I need your help, Mouse. One of the people with her is of your kind. And I respect you enough to involve you in this because he is an Ogryn.
He's going to shrug slightly awkwardly and say, oh, help if I can. Not any secret to killing Ogryns, you just shoot them more.
I understand and I thank you, but out of respect, I wanted to, inform you about all this because he is one of yours. Not yours personal, but he is one of yours. And I didn't want this to be, withheld from you. I thought you had a right to voice whatever opinion you have.
He just kind of shrugs again and he's clearly not too fussed about the fact that this is another Ogryn. It's like, okay, this is somebody working for an enemy of yours, then they're an enemy as well. So it's as simple as that.
And she'll basically thank you for your help and assistance, and explain to you, she was just checking that it was all okay with you, about the other Ogryn.
You nods.
Because you're a friend and a colleague.
Looks slightly uncomfortable, being kind of considered as something more than. I'm sure most people just kind of treat mouse as part of the furniture.
She will nod and thank you and, turn back to go and do what she was doing, prep stuff.
Okay. He's actually going to give a small salute and then leave.
She'll return it.
Cool.
She feels a little bit better.
Okay.
Excellent. Unless anybody has anything else to add, as far as general prep, I suppose, is concerned, call it there, and we'll do the sort of final, the pre-race. We'll start next week with the pre-race gala, the race, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be an assassination attempt.
Oh, 100%.
Cool. Let's see.
Lucius is going to be hanging upside down out of the gun cutter like fucking Widowmaker.
What XP are we at? We are at 8,800.
A pissed off assassin is not nice.
And it needs to consult and Power Gamer.
We are at 9,100 in total.
9,100 in total.
9,100.
Fair enough. Honestly, for some fucking fantastic and like absolute bullshit rolls, 400 XP.
Nice. What's rank 3 again?
I think it's 300 and... Is it 310? No. Can't remember now.
Rank
Wasn't it
3
like
is
1200?
11,000, I believe.
11,000?
I believe so.
Let me double check. Yeah, congrats on some serious bullshit rolls, by the way. Thankfully for the better for once, and I mean for the worst in some cases. Cough, cough, kill slim. Well done in failing a.
Personally, I blame Sandwich for not being here to make the crap rolls that gave Kill Slim the bad rolls.
I know, right? So rank 3 is 10,000 XP.
10.
Yes.
We are 500 XP away. Damn it.
Yeah. By the way, everybody remember to
I was-
check the extra books and stuff like that for any alternate career paths.
Yeah.
Maybe a thing.
I was low-key hoping we'd hit rank 3 this one, so I can get another rank in the flying just before the
Okay.
race.
Well, bad luck.
Would there be any benefit in having 2 people with pilot flyers?
Well, I'm assuming the benefit of that would be, that's why Phil asked for a co-pilot. But I don't think anyone else can fly.
I can take it.
Technically, we have an alternate that could.
Yes.
Hey, Mouse
Technically,
could
yeah.
learn, but you'd have to refit every single pilot seat for him.
It'd be pretty much the Hulk trying to get into the
The Quinjet,
ship in Ragnarok. Yeah, the Quinjet.
pretty much.
Technically, you do have someone.
I think, someone is better than no one.
Because I've got the option now to take pilot flyers if we need it. But if
Yeah.
we don't need it, then
See, I mean, here's the thing. If the ship is in atmosphere, it is acting as a flyer, not a spaceship. So that counts.
When you shoot, obviously, when you shoot the guns on a ship,
Mhm.
like, you don't fire them on the user's thing, it's on the, you get what I mean? Is that right, Phil?
I mean, in the case of like a gunnery master, like in a void master, it would be using their roles.
That's it. So would it be the same on his cutter in atmosphere?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Would
Yeah, it would be.
right. So basically, you have, but it's up to Phil whether he's available.
It's up to yourselves how you want to organize the ship. I mean, you guys have basically said that he's going to be acting as 2IC
Damn it.
when Scythia and Constantine is around. You sure as fuck bet Scythia is going to be about for this sort of gathering? No way in fuck she's going to be staying in the ship.
So there's no way my alt can help because he wouldn't. Not all three of them wouldn't be on the ship. My alt character would be on the ship if Scythia and Theodore aren't there.
Fair enough. I cannot access the other books. Where are they?
Okay,
The
I'm
pin
gonna
is
end
not
stream
working.
there.